You wake up before your alarm, not because you're grinding, not because some 4M productivity guru got in your head, but because your body just does that now. It's 6:12 in the morning, and the first thing you do is not check your phone. You lie there for a second, and somewhere in a brokerage account that you haven't opened yet, you are worth $4.1 million. You live in a 3-bedroom house with a driveway that needs resealing. You drive a 2019 Honda. Nobody, and I mean nobody, knows this about you. That's the part people can't wrap their heads around, not the number. The gap between the number and the life. You'd expect a mansion, a watch, a guy posting from a rented Lamborghini in Miami. Instead, you get a guy who still clips coupons for razors out of habit. And that gap right there, that's the whole video. So let's actually walk through the day, because the day is where this thing either makes sense or it doesn't. 6:47 a.m., kitchen, black coffee, no sugar. You open one app before anything else. Not email, not Instagram, the brokerage app. You look at it for exactly 9 seconds. Here's what nobody tells you about that 9 seconds. You're not checking if you got rich overnight. You're checking if anything broke while you slept. There's a difference, and almost everyone confuses the two their whole life. By 7:15, you're in the car. Same route you've driven for 6 years. At the light on 4th and Main, there's a truck driver 2 lanes over, cab rattling, exhausted before 8 in the morning. And here's the thing that would surprise most people watching this. On paper, some mornings, that truck driver's take-home pay this month is higher than yours because your money doesn't punch a clock. It doesn't get overtime. Most days it just sits there, quietly compounding, completely indifferent to whether you showed up or not. You get to the office at 8:02. You have a normal job, not trading. An operations job at a mid-sized logistics company. Salary around $91,000 a year, same as it's been with small bumps since 2019. This is the detail that breaks people's assumptions the fastest. The wealth isn't coming from the job. The job was never the point. The job was the funding mechanism for something that started 7 years ago as $380 a month into an index fund. Back when $380 felt like a genuine sacrifice. Here's the math. Nobody puts in a thumbnail. $380 a month for 11 years at an average return that had some brutal down years mixed in with the good ones turns into a number that looks like a typo the first time you calculate it. Not because the monthly amount was heroic, because it never stopped. Not in 2020 when everything cratered. Not in 2022 when it happened again. The account got smaller those years on paper, and the deposits still went in on the first like clockwork. 10:15, quick meeting, nothing interesting happens, we're skipping it. Lunch is leftovers at your desk, and this is where you run into Dave from the 3rd floor, who day trades on his phone between meetings. Dave is loud about it. Dave had a Green Tuesday last week and mentioned it 4 separate times. Here's the part that surprises people. Dave is not wrong that he made money that day. Dave is wrong about what that day means, because the following Thursday, Dave lost more than the Tuesday gain, and Dave did not mention that one time. This isn't a dig at Dave. Dave is basically everyone's mental image of what a trader looks like, and that image is almost never the version of this that actually builds a net worth. The version that builds a net worth is boring enough that Dave wouldn't even bring it up at lunch. 1:30 p.m. your phone buzzes. It's your sister. Her car transmission just went to $400 repair, and she's asking carefully, embarrassed if you can help. You transfer it in about 11 seconds. Not because you're performing generosity, because 6 years ago you built something specifically shaped like this moment, a separate account, untouched, for exactly this kind of call. Here's what nobody tells you about an emergency fund. It's not really insurance against emergencies. It's insurance against you having to say no to someone you love, or worse, having to say yes and quietly resent it. 3:40 p.m. A coworker named Priya pulls you aside near the coffee machine and asks, half joking, half not, how you're already retired basically. You laugh it off in the moment, but here's the quiet confession she makes right after. She got a $30,000 inheritance from her grandmother 2 years ago, and it's already gone. New car, a trip to Portugal, some furniture. Not reckless purchases individually, just untethered ones. No plan absorbed the windfall, so the windfall evaporated the way money always does when it doesn't have a job to do. This is the part of the video where the lesson stops being about you and starts being about almost everyone. 4:55, you're walking to your car and your neighbor Rick is out front detailing a brand new truck he financed 2 weeks ago. Rick makes more than you at his job, genuinely more on the salary line. Rick will also, statistically, retire with less than 1/10 of what you have, and this isn't a mystery or a hidden trick. Rick's money has a very active social life. Yours mostly stays home, drive home, same route in reverse. At 5:40, the market's already closed for the day, and here's the phrase you'll hear again before this video ends. Whether it went up 2% or down 2% today, you did nothing differently. You didn't check it more. You didn't sell. You made the exact same dinner either way. Dinner is chicken and rice, again, and your wife asks how your day was. You say fine. She doesn't ask about the portfolio because there's genuinely nothing to report. That's not evasiveness. That's the actual state of things on a normal Tuesday. Somewhere in that conversation, low-key, she mentions she wants to repaint the guest room, and you say, sure, let's get a quote this weekend. That's the entire financial decision of the evening. Not glamorous. Not a scene from a movie about Wall Street. 7:30, a walk around the block, no earbuds. This is the part of the day nobody would ever put in a highlight reel. And it's also, honestly, the most expensive part of the day because it's the part that was bought with 11 years of a system nobody watched happen. 5 p.m. before bed, you glance at the account one more time. Total change today. The portfolio moved up about $430. You spent $31 today on gas and lunch ingredients. You gave $400 to your sister. Net, on paper, you're down for the day. And you go to sleep completely fine with that because none of those numbers were ever the scoreboard you were actually playing to. Here's the part that surprises people the most. Saved for last on purpose. There is no finish line moment where the confetti drops and someone hands you a trophy that says you made it. Nobody claps. There's no ceremony for the 11th year of a deposit that started at $390. The wealth doesn't announce itself. It doesn't change your driveway or your car or the way you answer, how was your day? The market rose or fell today and you did nothing, and that's not the absence of a strategy that was always the strategy. Wealth, done right, goes quiet. It doesn't perform. It just sits there, funding the calls from your sister and the coats of paint for the guest room and the version of retirement that doesn't require you to keep working for it. No one clapped today. No one knows what happened in that account. And that, more than the number itself, is the entire point.